Student loan forgiveness has been in the news for over a year now. In fact, I made a video all about how people could potentially get up to not just $10,000, but maybe even $20,000 in student loan forgiveness. However, there's been some updates, so I'm going to lay it all out for you. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. I'm Rich Smith, and one of the money lessons they never teach you in school is just how expensive it is to get that higher education, to get that degree, that advanced degree. And it's been in the news for years that some sort of federal student loan forgiveness is coming our way. However, if you're somebody looking for that relief, for that cancellation of the debt, I have some updates for you, but real quick before we dive too far in, drop a like for this video. So just to catch everybody up to speed, the president said, basically it was an election campaign promise, that some student loan forgiveness is coming our way. And when it was first instituted, all of a sudden controversy rose up. People from both sides, both parties, were kind of advocating either for or against it. Now, it doesn't matter where you fall. I just want to give you the facts. So here's the latest. The Supreme Court made a ruling that blocked federal student loan forgiveness based on what was being proposed. So the plan was, using the HEROES Act of 2003, the president was going to introduce this federal student loan forgiveness. Now, I want you to keep in mind that the average student loan debt is over $30,000 in America right now, and we're talking about tens of millions of people. Some have way more, obviously, some have way less. But when you also then factor in private student loan debt, we're looking at debt that is over $40,000. So just keep in mind, big picture, we're talking $10,000, potentially up to $20,000. And again, there's income limits, things like that. So I don't want to make it seem like people's loans are just going to be wiped out. But already, based on that first proposed legislation, the Supreme Court has shut it down. So the latest is that the president has introduced a Plan B. Essentially, if the Supreme Court ruled that based on this one law before, you cannot forgive student loan debt, they found another law, one that's even older, and if this can hold up, because there's going to be additional lawsuits, there's going to be court cases, if this can hold up, then there can be some form of student loan forgiveness. But here's the big problem for everyone out there with student loans. Millions of people have already applied for, through their loan servicer, this forgiveness. And so that's going to get washed out. Even some student loan servicers were already giving refunds back to people that were anticipating getting money that they had already paid. So that's going to be a big mess. Also, there's just plain some fatigue and some confusion. It's wait a second. For the past few years, there haven't been any required payments. There haven't really been any interest. So these debts are just sitting there. And all of that is coming to a close, which means that eventually, very soon in the near future, those payments are going to start to be due again. And then eventually, a few months later, that interest is going to start to then be tacked on to the balances, the principal that is owed. So what can you do? Here's my opinion. Here's where I would concentrate right now as we let this thing unfold. Basically, this is some big picture key takeaways for you. Right now, student loan forgiveness is put on the back burner. It is not happening, but it is not dead yet. The president and his staff are going to try to push it forward again. And if you aren't even aware of who your student loan provider is, how much you owe, if and when your payments are starting back up, then I'll leave a link down below in the description to a website, studentaid.gov. You can sign up for an account. You can find out who your servicers are, eventually make a connection with them. And then if you have questions about money that's owed or when repayments start, interest, all of that, you can get in touch. I will say there are basically ways for you to look at what type of loan you have and make sure you are in the best vehicle. And what I mean by that is 10 years ago, the loans were called one thing. 5 years ago, they may have changed. And if you have loans that are more recent, then they could be called something else. Again, it's confusing. Why do they have to be like this? I don't know. It's just the way that it is. So again, hop onto that website that I'll leave down below in the description. Get in touch with your provider and at least know what's coming or when payments are going to start, how much you owe, etc. Now, my website is full of other resources like this, updates, tips on finances. So I want you to check it out. And also, I do send out a weekly newsletter. So if there are some updates where something's official, where you can actually apply for some real student loan forgiveness, then I will send that out via my newsletter. So again, be sure to check that out. I'll leave a link down below in the description where you could sign up for that. If you appreciate updates like this, please drop a like for this video. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.